100 amazing facts around the world.
Nowadays, a lot of people say video games are a waste of time and lead to violent behavior. 150 years ago, they were saying the same thing about chess. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. Manatees control their buoyancy by farting. They can regulate the distribution of their intestinal gases, holding it in when they want to approach the surface and letting loose when it is time to sink. President Thomas Jefferson kept a pair of grizzly bear cubs in a cage on the front lawn of the White House for a few months. They were a gift. The ancient Romans used human urine as a mouthwash. It was supposed to purge bacteria, and physicians claimed it whitened teeth and made them stronger. Upper-class women paid for bottled Portuguese urine since it was supposed to be the strongest on the continent. The original title of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was Teeny Weenies. Sia wrote Rihanna's Diamonds in 14 minutes. Like so many other famous lines in films, in Titanic Leonardo DiCaprio ad-libbed "I'm the king of the world." Baseball, the name and the game, was invented in England in the 1750s. Mussolini tortured his enemies by forcing them to swallow massive doses of castor oil. Only 388,000 slaves out of a total 12.5 million that crossed the Atlantic were sold in the US. The rest 10.7 million went to Mexico and South America. An ancient Roman punishment for the crime of parricide, the killing of a parent, was to severely scourge the criminal, sew them into a stout leather bag with a dog, a snake, a rooster, and a monkey, then throw the bag into the river. Silver is the best conductor of electricity of any metal. It is slightly more conductive than copper but much more expensive. President Rutherford B. Hayes was the first American to own a Siamese cat. The cat was a gift to the President and First Lady from the American consul in Bangkok. Shark skin was once used commercially as sandpaper. It only took 3 days for The Hunger Games to become Lionsgate's biggest grossing film ever at that time. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle once solved a real-life mystery case and helped clear an innocent man of murder, but he didn't pay Conan Doyle's legal fees even though he was awarded £6,000 in compensation. Both Tom Cruise and Nicolas Cage were considered for the role of Iron Man before producers realized Robert Downey Jr. would be the perfect fit. In Switzerland, it is illegal to keep just one guinea pig. The screwdriver was invented 100 years before the screw. Alexander the Great once built a half-mile causeway through the sea to capture the impregnable Tyre Island. The island has remained a peninsula ever since. The Hollywood movie Mars Attacks originally had trouble attracting A-list actors because most of the characters either die in some cartoonish manner or end up disfigured. That was until Jack Nicholson enthusiastically joined the film. Glenn Close, Pierce Brosnan, Danny DeVito, Michael J. Fox, and others followed suit. At its peak in the 1990s, when it was mailing out CDs to get people to sign up for internet service, AOL was producing 50% of the world's CDs. Early in his career, Picasso was so poor that he burned most of his early work to keep his apartment warm. Armadillos are good swimmers, but they also walk underwater to cross bodies of water. They can hold their breath for 6 to 8 minutes. Sigourney Weaver actually pulled off the basketball shot in Alien Resurrection for real. Final Destination is actually based on a script for an episode of The X-Files that didn't make it into the TV show. Airplanes store fuel in their wings. The U.S. tax code is 4 times as long as the complete works of Shakespeare. Jimmy Carter once sent a jacket to the dry cleaners with the nuclear detonation code still in the pocket. When McDonald's set up its first restaurant in Soviet Russia, it had to teach workers how to smile and pretend to be cheerful. Sharks' teeth are coated with fluoride, which acts like toothpaste and keeps the shark's mouth healthy and clean. Japan has the shortest national anthem. Kimi-ge-o is the title of Japan's four-line national anthem. It is one of the world's oldest anthems and has a total of 32 characters, running a length of 11 measures. Due to the television series MacGyver, the word MacGyver was added to the Oxford English Dictionary in 2015. As a verb, it means to make or repair an object in an improvised or inventive way, making use of whatever items are at hand. Rhythms is the longest common English word without any of the 5 main vowels. During the filming of The Hunger Games, Jennifer Lawrence accidentally kicked Josh Hutcherson in the head and knocked him out. In Iron Man, Jarvis stands for just a rather very intelligent system. Archie Karras, a Greek-American gambler, turned a $10,000 loan with 100% interest into $42 million by gambling between 1992 and 1995, only to lose it all in around a month. For 100 years, the flag of the tropical Turks and Caicos Islands in the West Indies mistakenly featured an igloo. Cows eat only grass but have 25,000 taste buds, 2.5 times as many as humans. In Shaun of the Dead, when Simon Pegg went to the shop again, the music on the radio interrupted by the announcement in Hindi which translates to, "This is a warning. Dead people are attacking the live ones and they're doing this too." Soviet tank driver and mechanic Maria Oktyabrskaya, whose husband was killed in 1941, sold her possessions to fund a T-34 tank, piloted the said tank, called it the Fighting Girlfriend, and received Soviet military honors for killing Nazis. New York City's Wall Street area is named after a barrier built by the Dutch in the 17th century to protect against Indian attacks. At age 26, Edward Rutledge, a lawyer from South Carolina, was the youngest signer of the U.S. Declaration of Independence. Benjamin Franklin was the oldest signer at 70. King Tut's tomb had already been robbed several times before it was discovered by Howard Carter in 1922. Nicolas Cage was in the frame to play the lead role in Superman Lives, a 90s reboot of the franchise directed by Tim Burton. There is a Russian live-action version of The Hobbit which was released in 1985. Ottomans had plans to invade eastern Armenia and continue their genocide there in May 1918. However, thanks to the ferocious defense of 9,000 Armenians, the invasion was repelled and Ottomans were forced to recognize Armenia as an independent nation. The world's population spends 500,000 hours a day typing internet security codes. There are 6 vehicles and 50 tons of litter on the moon left behind by the Apollo missions. Giraffes aren't all the same species. There are actually 4 genetically distinct species of giraffe. About 13 paintings were stolen from an art museum in Boston in 1990 by 2 thieves dressed in police uniforms, who tricked museum security into letting them access the gallery. Value of the paintings lost was over $500 million, making it the largest private property heist in history. The case still remains unsolved. President Barack Obama collected Spider-Man and Conan the Barbarian comic books. On the shores of Lake Huron, Canada's Wasaga Beach is the world's longest freshwater beach. It is 14 miles long. In 1960, Sri Lanka was the first nation with a female prime minister. Actual veterans of the American Civil War attended the premiere of Gone with the Wind. All of the clocks in Pulp Fiction are stuck at 4:20. The first psychiatric hospital ward was founded in Baghdad in 705. Millennials are estimated to return more than 75% of clothes they purchase online, while baby boomers return less than 50%. A typical bird's feathers weigh more than twice as much as its bones. St. Patrick's color was blue, not green. St. Patrick's blue can be seen on ancient Irish flags and was used on armbands and flags by the Irish Citizen Army up until the 1798 Irish Rebellion. Malabar giant squirrel is a squirrel species that's endemic to India. They have multicolored fur and can get up to 3 feet in length. In your lifetime, your long-term memory can hold about 1 quadrillion bits of information. In 1925, the world's first motel opened in San Luis Obispo, California. The original room charge was $1.25 per night. Churches in Malta have 2 clocks to confuse the devil. One clock has the right time, and one has the wrong time. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King was nominated for 11 Academy Awards. It won every single one of them. Christopher Plummer hated working on The Sound of Music. He called it The Sound of Mucus, and said that working with Julie Andrews was like being hit over the head with a Valentine's card every day. Due to the terrible rains that struck Bethel, New York the day before, Jimi Hendrix, who was the final artist to perform at Woodstock, didn't perform his set until 8:30 a.m. Monday morning. Steph Curry made more money in 6 games than Wilt Chamberlain did in his entire career. In Bali, dragonflies are eaten with coconut milk, ginger, garlic, shallots, or just plain grilled and crispy. The average Chinese consumer has only 70 g of chocolate a year, while the average European consumer has 7 kilograms. Scarlett O'Hara's real first name in Gone with the Wind is Katie. Scarlett is her middle name. The loudest land animal is the howler monkey. It can reach 140 decibels and can be heard 3 miles away. Frozen was the first animated Disney film to have been directed by a woman. On the set of Jaws, George Lucas put his head in the shark's mouth. Laughing, Steven Spielberg closed the prop's jaws. However, the action malfunctioned, and Lucas got stuck. Russia tried to establish a colony in Africa in 1889, in Sagalo, which is modern-day Djibouti. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the NBA's all-time leading scorer with 38,387 points. Whenever the king of Swaziland rises from his seat, he must be greeted with cheers and gasps of astonished admiration. In 2005, Georgian President Mikhail Saakashvili fired all of the traffic police in his country, cutting 25,000 to 30,000 police from the payroll to fight corruption. He also increased the minimum weekly salary from $30 to $40 to around $400 for the new officers. In the early Thor comics, if Thor ever lets go of his Warhammer Mjolnir for more than 60 seconds, he would lose all of his powers and revert to a human. The term blockbuster has meanings going back to large bombs in World War II, but as it is used to describe films, it was first used for Jaws in 1975. King Sobhuza II of Swaziland ruled for 82 years and 254 days, the longest verifiable reign of any monarch in recorded history. Sobhuza reigned from 1899 until 1982. Gone with the Wind and All the King's Men are the only 2 Pulitzer Prize-winning novels made into Best Picture Oscar winners. Miramax turned down the opportunity to make Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, as they wanted him to make it into just 2 films. He went with New Line Cinema in the end, who made $3 billion from the series. The scene in The Dark Knight where the huge truck flips was created without any CGI. Special effects supervisor Chris Corbold actually flipped a life-size truck using a powerful steam piston and a very brave stuntman who was actually driving the vehicle. Neil Armstrong also went to the North Pole, 16 years after walking on the moon. The silhouette on the NBA logo was modeled after Jerry West. Only 3 places in the world have ever changed from driving on the right to driving on the left: East Timor in 1975, Okinawa in 1978, and Samoa in 2009. After needing 13 liters of blood for a surgery at the age of 13, a man named James Harrison pledged to donate blood once he turned 18. It was discovered that his blood contained a rare antigen which cured Rhesus disease. He has donated blood a record 1,000 times and saved 2 million lives. The mask worn by the Joker in the first scene of The Dark Knight was inspired by the makeup the Joker used to disguise himself in his first episode of the 1965 Batman television series, The Joker is Wild. In 1987, Aretha Franklin was the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Switzerland and Vatican City are the only two countries with square flags. Buddha, Confucius, and Socrates all lived about the same time. Buddha is believed to have died in 483 BC, Confucius died in 479 BC, and Socrates was born in 469 BC. Robert De Niro turned down the role of Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean as he thought the film would bomb. Originally, Will Smith was approached to play Neo in The Matrix, but backed out at the last minute so he could be in Wild Wild West. In 2012, the Museum of Modern Art accepted 14 video games as part of its permanent collection. In 1999, Garry Kasparov played a chess match against 50,000 people over the internet. He won and said it was his hardest game he played. Charles Dickens invented 959 named characters. Some penguins get depressed and walk away from the sea alone to their deaths. No one knows why. William Burke was a Scottish murderer who would sell corpses for a profit to medical researchers. After he was hanged for his crimes, scientists dissected him, wrote with his blood, and bound a book with his skin.
World Top 20.
Thanks for watching.
For more videos, please like the video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel.
We wish you a fruitful day ahead.
And remember, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.